Ladies, gentlemen, Octanes, and Roadhogs, welcome to another iteration of QRLS Week in Review. We are going over Week 9 this week as we have just come off a stellar performance by all 8 teams in the QRLS, and we are here to talk the logistics and the statistics of everything around the league. Joining me tonight is my good friend and colleague, the Jet. Jet, there was a lot going on in QRLS this week.
Yeah, Bucket, glad to be here. Thanks for having me. This was an exciting Week 9 to get us set up for an even more exciting Week 10 to come.
Absolutely, and we're going to get into some news here in the QRLS. The admins and the captains had a long captain meeting going over the logistics of Season 5, and stuff that has come up is the third division being added for Season 5, the Epic Division. And with the Epic Division coming next season, we are having a division shakeup during All-Star Week. This is going to be happening Tuesday, March 29th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on stream. And Jet, what this means is we are going to take all the teams, existing and new, put them in a pool and draw them out of a hat, and those are your 3 new divisions, 4 per division. How is this going to change and shake up the QRLS?
Well, this is certainly going to change the dynamic of the league because, with the 2 divisions we have, the Calculated and the Savage, for at least 2 seasons now, the Calculated divisions has seemed to always come out on top. No matter how much they trade players and move players around, the Calculated division, it seems to always have the upper hand. So this is going to change that up, and we're going to see what this new Epic division and where the teams fall. This is going to change up division rivals. Big shakeup to the league.
Big shakeup indeed. The next thing on the agenda is the QRLS player cap, the new cap system that we will be implementing for Season 5. This season, the cap was a huge success based on players' MMRs, and with that, the increase in schedule and increase in commitment in this league has proven that we have our own set of standards, and our player cap is going to set the bar for each individual player based on their QRLS performance. The cap itself, the player rating, I should say, is not new yet. However, we are just going to implement it into our own way.
Yeah, and it's a different way to go for the league. No longer using the actual in-game MMR system, and using actual people's performance in our league here in the QRLS. And I think it's going to work out great, just as well as this MMR cap did for this season alone. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things change with this new cap system.
Yeah, and all the captains, too, were 110% on board and excited, so that is always a great thing to see as well. And probably the most exciting news, ladies and gentlemen, the merch store is finally live. If you did not see my announcement in the Discord page, we now have official merch on the link in the Twitch page. You will be able to find it. All of the teams will have merch in this store eventually, but right now we are waiting for finalized logos from some of the teams. But you can go see some of your favorite teams in the QRLS on this merch store. And of course, generic official gear as well for the league. Go ahead, go support it, or do not. We just want to put this option out there for all you viewers because this is really cool. And Jet, I don't know about you, but I've been ordering a ton of hoodies.
Yeah, very excited about the merch store. I haven't ordered it yet, but I will definitely be getting myself a Keep Calm and Keep It Quick t-shirt.
Without a doubt. And the last piece of news we have here, ladies and gentlemen, as we mentioned at the beginning, we have a 3rd division being added because we are adding 4 new teams. And with that, we are going to be revealing for you the 4 new logos of the expansion teams right here on stream. From left to right, it goes as follows. The Cyclones will be led by Captain Night Leaper, who is right now a rookie on the Hammerheads. The Rangers are going to be led by Jet's own teammate, Throttle Dog. Astro Gaming will be led by Bolton, a new player to the QRLS who is ripping and exciting and ready to go for some action. And lastly, the Spectres are going to be led by former Bleacher boy and good friend and colleague to the booth, Massimune. Jet, look at these designs.
Great logos, great new team names, great captains. Excited to see what these captains can really bring to the league and how they can shake it up and if they can go get themselves a QRLS Cup in their inaugural season.
Absolutely. The first iteration of expansions that we saw the Speed Demons make the playoffs in their first season. So very interesting to see what 4 new teams are going to have in store here in Season 5. But first, we got to finish off Season 4, Jet. And kicking off Week 9 was your Clarity United squad taking on the Speed Demons. And Jet, I'm going to put it bluntly here, this was an upset.
This definitely was an upset. This is a match that everybody, including us at Clarity United, expected us to win. And we came out and flopped. It was game 1 was good, and we just didn't hold it down for games 2 and 3. And that certainly shakes up the standings in the division.
No doubt about it. The Speed Demons, because of this effort, are mathematically still alive in the playoffs.
That's right.
Obviously, a lot has to go right for them, and a lot has to go wrong across your division as well. And with that being said, we see the sub of Massimune really taking charge, kind of leading the team there in lieu of their captain, Arking Duwork. And this is also the first week that Golden Pickle has hit the field in the QRLS.
That's right, and you got to assume that this specific Speed Demons team that played this week have played very little, if at all, together before that night. And Clarity United just didn't know what to expect out of this team, and they came out on top. To the missing captain comes back, and his team is still in the hunt going into Week 10 here.
Absolutely great stuff. Interested to see how the Savage Division plays out. Right now, mathematically, the Savage Division could end in a 3-way tie, which is not what Clarity United wants to see if we are talking playoffs.
Not at all.
And with that being said, the second match of the week was the Bleacher Boys versus the Kings. And outside of Game 1 antics, as you can see on the scoreboard, the second 2 matches were as barn-burning as it could get. And K1 Killer, in his inaugural week as a Bleacher Boy, really showed out here. But Alec Big was awarded the Player of the Week in the Savage Division because he is the first player in QRLS history to earn a hat trick, a playmaker, and a savior in the same match.
Yeah, and that's incredible. In almost 4 full seasons here, nobody has ever done that. And Alec Big comes out and gets it done in Week 9, in arguably the biggest week of the Bleacher Boys season here. They needed to come out with a sweep in this match, and they ended up getting it.
Yeah, and now their playoff hopes are essentially in their hands. In terms of the Savage Division, as long as they win more games than the Kings or they sweep, they will make the playoffs after Week 10. So a lot riding, and a lot of it is really just in the hands of the Bleacher Boys at this point. Moving on, the Gold Diggers took on the Hammerheads, and Jet, I'm going to put this as subtly as I can. This was the best match of the season. These guys went back and forth.
This match was incredibly fun to watch, Bucket. The combination of this Gold Diggers team and the Hammerheads team, who was kind of underperformed throughout the season, in my opinion, they really put up a big fight against this Gold Diggers team, and man, was it a battle, all 3 matches.
All 3 matches going to overtime, Jet. Absolutely insane. The cool, calm, and composed Gold Diggers, however, just were able to come out on top. Baby Dumbs and Will 6 doing tandem things like we always see him do, especially after Game 2. We saw a 0-second goal to force overtime via the Hammerheads, but nonetheless, that was the nail in the coffin that shut the Hammerhead season down. and would ultimately make the Hammerheads the first team of Season 4 to be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
Which is amazing in itself, and that's a testament to the competitiveness of this league, that out of our 8 teams going into the final week, there's only one team that's completely eliminated.
And it's the defending champions.
It's the defending champions. That from the top to the bottom.
Next up, we had the 3 Rocketeers take on the Headhunters, and this match was almost also considered an upset here, Jet, and Slurpy Snail just had some of MJ's special stuff.
Yeah, I would definitely consider this match to be an upset. The Headhunters have been really strong all season long, with the exception of these last couple of weeks. But the Rocketeers really came out, and Slurpy Snail went off in the first 2 games of this match. And even in the game that they lost, he still had 5 shots on goal.
Absolutely, and they had a sub as well. Zavri was not in this week, who had really been taking on the majority of the offensive role for the 3 Rocketeers the last couple weeks. So that just goes to show, you've got a very solidified veteran and Bearded coming in for him. These guys were very much in sync, and obviously that one loss that they did have, it almost didn't show on the stat sheet.
It almost didn't. It's Slurpy Snail really came out on top in this entire match. He brought his team up, and he put them in position to have a shot at the playoffs this week, and that's what the important thing is.
Absolutely. And Jet, we're going to move on to power rankings here, and everybody loves my ideas for the power rankings, and I know it for a fact, and obviously that's sarcasm, but here is my take on the power rankings on everybody's screen. We saw a lot of teams we didn't think would lose this week, and that is the basis behind my rankings right now. And with that being said, if you asked me today who the best team in the league was after week 9, I would tell you the Gold Diggers.
Wow, that's an interesting take on what happened this week. I can't necessarily argue with it. I still think the Kings deserve to be somewhere in that top 4 if I was to point anything out.
And with that being said, you can see the standings here, and it is honestly absolutely insane. So I want to point out a stat that I mentioned going into week 9, and that is in every season of the QRLS, we've had at least one 20-win team, or 2 for that matter. But this season, we will not see a single 20-win team in the QRLS for Season 4. Jet, how close are these teams?
This season has been so competitive, and every team, and we've been saying it all season long. Every announcer I've heard say it. Everybody on this Week in Review show has said it. Any team can beat any other team on any given week. And that's a great thing. It's made all these matches really fun to watch.
Absolutely. Let us know what you guys think in the chat on the power rankings. Who do you think is the best team in the QRLS? Jet, my favorite part of the Week in Review is the player spotlight, and with that being said, we have a good one this week. We have Slurpy Snail in the booth here with us. Slurpy, thank you for joining us. First of all, congratulations on an amazing week. You won the Calculated Division Player of the Week this week off of an 8-goal performance and 2 hat tricks. And my first question to you here is, this is your first season as a captain, and it's almost over. What was your initial reactions, and do you have any advice for any of the new captains going into Season 5?
Oh man, captainship. It's a tough one. I got kind of thrown in there without not really knowing everyone's playstyle. I think after 2 years now, 2 seasons, I think I understand a lot more. But for captain's advice, I guess. Well, first, I think we need some more free agent scrambles. I think we need to get as many free agents playing as possible so we can determine what their playstyle is, and then being a captain is all about finding players that you think work well together, that follow a playstyle that you can all kind of just coincide with, and the chemistry. It's a big one. You guys got to play a lot together, but got to put that work in.
And that leads actually right into my question. You made a change earlier in the season in your team, and it seems to have worked out for the better as you're now in position to make the playoffs. What led to making that, and how hard is it as a captain to make those type of decisions to change your team up?
That's probably the toughest part about being a captain, knowing when to change things up or go ahead. And I think the losing record to start off it just wasn't connecting, and I think we didn't fit well as a playstyle team. I think we had more of a passive defensive playstyle, and we couldn't score. So then I went ahead and found a couple players that were more offensive, that had a pretty fast playstyle, which allowed me to kind of fit into a back roll, just try and make things work for them, I guess.
Well, your team is certainly scoring now. Your team has the most goals out of all teams in the league.
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
We love our stats here. Slurpy, the MVP race just got a whole lot tighter after your performance this week, but your team is still fighting for playoff hopes. Which is weighing more on your shoulders here? Trying to win this MVP or trying to make the playoffs with your new squad?
Oh, definitely trying to make playoffs. That's 100% number one. We're just trying to get wins out here. Stats come second, sometimes now, but it's gonna be a tough one. A lot of things have to go right for us, but the fact that we get to play the Hammerheads last, I think you were talking about the best game of the season. I think the three Rocketeers Hammerheads had one of the top threes last like 2-3 weeks ago, and I think you're about to see another one coming up.
Yeah, barn burner here, Jet.
Absolutely. Week 10 is shaping up to be an incredibly interesting week for sure. I was going to ask what's your strategy against this Hammerheads team who is coming in with nothing to lose now, knowing that they can't specifically make the playoffs, but they can play spoiler to your team.
That's a good point. I think the fact that we swept them last time we played them will help get us to a start that we need, a fast start. If we can get them on their heels a little bit, I think we should be able to pull out, but like you said, any week can go to any team. It was a back and forth. The last time we swept them, it could have gone the other way. They could have swept us. But I think I'm going to smack Billy Bob around, and that's what will win us the games.
Oh, man, I love to see it. My last question for you here, Snail, is your initial thoughts on the announcements that we've made for Season 5. Tell us what you're most looking forward to, and tell us what the rest of the league should most look forward to, as we have a ton of huge changes.
I'm looking forward to the 4 new teams. That's 12 teams. That's going to be crazy. I'm very excited for that. As for everyone else, just the insane momentum we've had on the channel and just growing. The amount of growth we've had in the past and just this season alone, I think that's something to look forward to. Just a lot of new players.
Absolutely. Slurpy, thank you for joining us tonight, taking time out of your busy schedule. We're not going to hold you any longer. We appreciate you coming on to the show, and good luck in your playoff race and in the MVP race.
Yeah, boys, thanks for having me.
Jet, as we move on to the final segment of this show, we see the matches going in to Week 10. The most crucial week for every team still in the playoff hunt is this week. We already have 2 matches confirmed and scheduled, still waiting on a couple more. But, I mean, none of these matches have any sort of non-importance to them.
Oh, no. You're definitely going to want to tune in next week, folks, because every single one of these matches has huge playoff contentions, and it's going to be a battle, and these teams really want to make the playoffs. Like you spoke of earlier, there's a possibility of a 3-way tie for the Savage division. There's a possibility that the Speed Demons in last place could end up making the playoffs in the Savage Division. Anything could happen this week 10. This is going to be exciting. This is what we come for.
Absolutely. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to tune in to these insane barn-burning matches. And following Week 10, we have All-Star Week, which is something you do not want to miss. More to follow on that during the Week 10 festivities. Jet, do you have anything else for our viewers before we send them home?
All I can say is gift a sub, subscribe to the Twitch, go subscribe to the YouTube, like the Facebook page, get involved.
Nice and beautifully said and short and sweet. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Quicksilver59, a.k.a. Little Bucket, a.k.a. The Commissioner. Joining me tonight was the Jet and Slurpy Snail on our player spotlight, and they did a great job giving us the rundown of what we might expect moving forward for Week 10. Without further ado, do not forget to like and subscribe on every platform you possibly can, and as always, keep it quick.